Michio was a worthless nobody living a pointless, plotless life until he suddenly got ice-guyed into another world. There, he decided to become an adventurer, conquer dangerous labyrinths, and of course, build the ultimate harem. So he ends up in a shady black market where people buy freaky slave girls who will do anything for their master. Our story starts when Michio wakes up inside a dusty barn. He sees a full game-like system floating in front of him and assumes the VR headset is just insanely realistic, even down to the exact clothes he's wearing. He spots a pair of sandals and slips them on, unknowingly earning the level 1 thief class instantly. Next, he finds his bonus sword buried under some hay, and he's thrilled when he checks its stats and sees how absurdly strong it is. Fully geared up, he rushes outside to see what this game has in store for him. Outside, Michio hears shouting and sees a group of farmers trying to defend their village from incoming bandits. He wonders if the villagers even stand a chance, especially since the bandit leader is higher level and wearing a special thief bandana. The battle breaks out, and the villagers get overwhelmed immediately. Seeing the leader distracted, Michio decides this is his chance for a sneak attack. He sprints in and gives the guy the Stark treatment. Another bandit charges, but Michio easily disarms him and knocks him out. The rest try fleeing, but Michio chases them down and wipes them all out until he's out of breath. Checking his system, he sees his level jump to level 2, along with a brand new hero title. An elderly man walks up to him and introduces himself as the village chief, Samara, and invites him to his home. Inside, Samara shows him a storage room full of loot taken from the bandits, telling him it all belongs to him after the villagers take their share. Michio spots the thief bandana among the items but quickly realizes it's a fake. He calls Samara out, who promises to investigate and prepares a room for Michio to rest. Once inside, Michio tries to log out, but nothing works. A system message tells him he cannot return to reality. That's when he remembers the warning he ignored and realizes he completely screwed himself. Samara returns with water and a change of clothes. That's when it hits Michio: if this world is real, then he just casually murdered real people. He starts spiraling, thinking he's no better than a villain now. Then he realizes, in a world like this, bandits attacking villagers is normal. If he hesitates now, he'll die. So he decides to toughen up and survive. Later that evening, Samara brings in the man who stole the real bandana, one of the villagers. After Michio confirms which bandana is real, Samara asks how he wants to punish the thief. Michio tells him to follow the village rules, which immediately darkens Samara's face. He turns to the villager and casts a spell on him. Michio asks what's going on, and Samara explains he just changed the man's status to slave. In their village, anyone caught stealing is sold as a slave. Half the money goes to the victim, and the other half supports the thief's family. Only then does Michio realize Samara wanted him to forgive the man, but it's already too late. Afterward, Samara hands Michio the intelligence cards of the bandits and explains that some of them might have bounties on their heads. He then directs him to a night station in the town of Bao, where he can redeem the bounties and sell his battle spoils. Samara even offers to prepare a carriage for him the next morning. The next day, Michio arrives at the bustling town of Bao, packed with people because it's market day. He heads straight to the night station, where a woman as ugly as her attitude informs him that 2 of the bandits he defeated actually had bounties. When she asks to see his intelligence card before receiving payment, Michio panics for a moment, praying his performance issues didn't follow him into this world. Luckily, the card pops out just fine, so the bitter woman tosses him his pay and tells him to scram. As Moya walks outside, he notices the lively vibe of the town suddenly disappears. The carriage rider warns him that some areas are dangerous and that there's a shady brothel nearby. Before he knows it, he arrives at the mansion of the slave trader. Inside, the master of the house, Alan, greets him politely and explains that business has been booming because a labyrinth was discovered near the town just 2 days ago. When they show him the slave, they also hand over Samara's letter explaining the bandana incident. Alan is impressed that Michio managed to defeat so many bandits, but Michio brushes it off, saying they were just weak. Alan then offers 30,000 nars for the fool who risked his life just to steal a bandana. After closing the deal, Moyo hands over the villagers' share of the money and the carriage rider returns home. Suddenly, Moyo realizes something important. He doesn't know anyone, doesn't understand the world, and is basically just a lone outsider. Right then, Alan returns and asks if Michio can spare more time. They head into a much fancier room and Michio starts wondering what this man is planning. Alan then proposes something unexpected. Since Michio is now an adventurer, he should consider buying slaves. Moyo hesitates until Alan calmly explains that his company specializes in slaves who will do anything to serve their masters. Moyo's brain instantly reloads every forbidden fantasy he ever suppressed. He tries to calm himself when a maid walks in to serve him tea. A maid with jiggle physics so advanced they could convince Einstein to reconsider his equations. Alan instantly recognizes the look in Michio's eyes. A fellow man of culture. When Roxanne steps away, Alan leans in and asks Michio if he likes what he sees. He doesn't waste time, Roxanne is their top recommended slave. Flustered, Michio asks whether slaves can betray their masters, so Alan explains the rules. If a master dies, the slave dies too. If a slave runs away, they instantly become a bandit. He adds that Roxanne is a wolf-skin beast warrior, making her extremely valuable in a labyrinth. But the big advantage, according to Alan, is that humans and demi-humans can't reproduce, meaning no annoying complications. On top of that, she has already given full consent to all the physical activities that may come with serving a master, meaning Michio can throw his morals out the window if he wants. Michio struggles with the idea of becoming a creep, but the moment he realizes someone else will claim her if he doesn't, he asks Alan for her price. Alan says Roxanne costs over 400,000 nars, which instantly destroys Michio's wallet. When Alan escorts him outside, Michio catches another glimpse of Roxanne. Alan whispers like a devil on his shoulder, telling him he'll give him 5 days to gather the money. He also informs Roxanne that Michio seems interested, so she politely thanks him. Once Michio leaves the trading house, he decides he'll do whatever it takes to get her. He heads to a restaurant, counts all his money, and realizes he's still 70,000 nars short. He remembers Alan's advice, making money through the newly discovered labyrinth. Adventurers can earn money by selling drops from defeated monsters, but Alan warned that making a huge amount quickly is difficult. Bounties are faster, but they also draw attention, and becoming the target is not on Michio's to-do list. So since he has 5 days, he chooses the safer path first, heads straight for the labyrinth. But then he remembers something important. His main sword is insanely powerful. If anyone notices it and steals it, he's doomed, and not in the fun way. So he resets his character settings and hides the sword, deciding to buy a more normal weapon. At the market's weapons shop, he finds a pile of swords and notices one with an empty skill slot, which means he can customize it later. Since all the swords cost the same, he chooses that one and also buys protective gear. After gearing up, he travels into the forest to locate the labyrinth's entrance. There, he sees a group of adventurers entering a teleportation gate, one of them a mage. He follows them and eventually reaches the labyrinth door. He re-equips his real sword, steps through the gate, and finally enters the first floor. A dim, quiet, strangely clean maze, his first real step into the labyrinth. He checks his status and sees he's now a level 1 explorer with a set of new skills. Michio quickly realizes that if stealing sandals turned him into a thief, then simply entering the labyrinth must have unlocked the explorer job. Curious, he notices the hero job in his list and assigns it as his second job, making explorer the third. He then tests out the dungeon walk skill. When he activates it, he teleports back into the last room he visited. But when he tries to exit outside, nothing happens, meaning the ability only works inside the labyrinth. Even trying to warp to earlier rooms fails, which tells him teleporting is limited to places the dungeon allows. As he moves forward, complaining about how much this experience kinda sucks, he spots a monster approaching, basically Groot's angry cousin. Michio decides to test his strength, and to his surprise, he destroys it with a single strike. He assumes his oversized tool must be doing the heavy lifting. The creature drops a branch, which he stores for later. Another monster wanders in. Michio remembers that his hero job came with a skill called Overwhelming. When he casts it, time around the monster seems to slow. But just as he's about to finish it off, a wave of laziness hits him, like he'd rather be wrapped up in Roxanne's thighs than fight anything. The monster lunges at him, snapping him back to reality, and he manages to defeat it. He connects the dots. The same drained, depressed feeling happened earlier after using Dungeon Walk. Spending MP on skills seems to tank his mood. But thanks to his sword's MP absorption, he recovers quickly. For now, he decides to avoid using magic until he builds a larger MP pool. That evening, he heads to the guild to sell the dropped branches. They only get him 273 nars. When he's back at the inn, he realizes each branch is worth 10 nars. Even grinding for 10 hours barely gets him 1,000 nars, nowhere near Roxanne's price. The next morning, he sets out early, but it's still pitch black. Then he remembers one of his bonus spells, Teleport. He uses it to warp to the first floor of the labyrinth. He celebrates for a moment before immediately regretting entering such a dangerous place so casually. The negative thoughts creep back in. He quickly summons his sword, ready to fight monsters and regain MP. He battles creature after creature, but eventually realizes he doesn't have infinite health. Still, the good news is that his status for all his jobs has increased. Feeling confident, he decides to explore deeper into the labyrinth. Suddenly, a brick behind him shifts. Michio turns around and discovers a hidden room. He thinks there might be treasure hidden inside and crawls in quickly, only to realize it's not a treasure room at all, it's a monster nest. As he backs away, another creature appears behind him and lunges. He manages to take it down, but another Groot wannabe smacks him across the room. Michio realizes that if he gets hit like this again, he's going to die for real. He tries to escape using Dungeon Walk, but nothing happens. Completely betrayed by his own skill, he realizes he has no option left but to fight. He activates Overwhelming, slowing the monsters enough for him to cut through them, though his MP drains like a phone running TikTok on 5% battery. Knowing this world is now his actual reality, he pushes through with everything he has. By some miracle, the little gremlin survives and wipes out all the monsters, collecting their hardwood as loot. He crawls out of the secret room grateful his sword can recharge him fast enough to go multiple rounds. When he exits the labyrinth looking like a used-up sock, he notices a crowd forming at the castle gate. Someone explains that a bandit corpse was discovered, apparently part of a group that used to hang around town before being forced out by knights or rival groups. That's when Michio remembers the bandits he fought earlier and wonders if survivors are out for revenge, but he figures they're probably targeting whoever drove them out of town first. Mo then asks how they knew the dead man was a bandit. The man points out that his left hand was cut off so someone could steal his intelligence card. Realizing people must be hunting bounties, Michio walks off thinking the labyrinth might be too slow. If he wants Roxen in 5 days, hunting bandits might be the fastest way. Later, Michio plans his strategy. Unlike last time, he won't be ambushing distracted idiots. These guys will be dangerous. If you loved this anime story and want to know what happens next, drop a comment below and I'll make part 2 just for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.